Nothing contained in this podcast should be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. This content does not represent our respective employers and is purely the opinion of the podcast hosts. We are not your personal medical providers. Sorry, friends. So, if you have concerns or are seeking a diagnosis or treatment, please seek individual advice from a healthcare provider in your area. We are not liable for any risks associated with acting upon the information contained in this podcast. This is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only, so enjoy the ride.
Please drink responsibly and in moderation. Before drinking, please be sure to be of the legal drinking age for your country. We do not encourage the misuse of alcohol.
Welcome to Medical Media Mixer, the perfect cocktail. I'm Nicole Peniston, psychologist.
And I'm Tara Prisco, physician assistant.
I almost said the perfect podcast. It's like,
that too.
Yes, too, but that's not what our intro is.
Nope, not it. Oh my goodness. So I got to see you recently.
You did. It was,
we're throwing things.
I knocked over a tiny Christmas tree, sorry.
Aw. So we got to catch up in person a little bit.
We did. We had some drinkies.
We did.
A dill pickle martini, which you two were loving. I was not as big of a fan of. I need my dill to be a little bit more sour dill.
Got it. So interestingly enough, I actually made my cocktail today as a mocktail version because something weird has been happening this week. Anytime I have even the smallest amount of alcohol, I'm having like night sweats at night and my stomach is weird. So I was like, let me give my body a break today. So I'll give us both versions of it. I don't know what's going on. Like even yesterday, New Year's Day, I had one glass of champagne over like a 2.5 hour period. And then I still had like night sweats and was weird. I don't know.
Weird.
So I'm not sure if my body's just like rejecting alcohol or it's coincidence.
We need it for the podcast.
Well, it might be a coincidence, but I did a mocktail version today, so I'll give us both versions when we get to that. I have no idea.
Good because I'm not drinking right now because I didn't know exactly how many episodes we were going to record today. And I was like, I think I can do my 2 drinks, but if we're doing multiple.
Right.
So right now I just have a Sprite with tea, which is my new jam. So.
Ooh, I've never even seen that.
Yes, it is.
Very cute.
TM, this is not an ad. And it has tea in it. So
oh, that's nice.
It's different.
Cool. Oh, so this is a good pod update. So when you were in New York, you saw that The Bug, that horrible movie, has been made into a show?
It is a Broadway show on actual Broadway, not off Broadway, on actual Broadway.
That's insanity because it was so ridiculously horrible. And
I think it's one of those cult classics. Like Heathers was on Broadway. That's a cult classic. You know, it's one of those
but
things.
Heathers, I get. I don't know.
Heathers we get because it was of our generation.
Right. I don't know.
Bug is of someone else's generation.
Right.
Classic. I mean, it got enough. It's definitely an interesting, trippy story.
Yes, it is. Maybe they will do it differently. The weird effects and stuff in the movie were bizarro.
I don't know. Maybe I feel like we need to go see it and then cover it again on the podcast.
There you go. An updated take on it. Oh my goodness.
If tickets aren't too crazy, I'll send you the link and we can, I sent you the link, but I didn't look at how much tickets were.
Right. Yeah. I'm hoping not expensive. So Happy New Year. Yeah. We're recording like closer to the wire than we have ever done before.
Yes. Because I had pneumonia for Christmas.
Yes. You had the plague.
That threw off our recording for at least a week, if not longer.
Yeah, so
I'm still not 100%, but I'm definitely like 80% better.
Okay, you just got that little deepness to your voice that makes it sexy. So
sexiness, yes. No, I've had a cough for like a year and a half. I think the pneumonia just made it worse.
Right.
So
fun stuff. It is absolutely horrific, sick season right now. Everyone and their mother and their brother and everybody else has the plague, hence the flu. So Nicole and I were just chatting. We're going to drop a bonus episode randomly, revisiting some stuff with the flu and bringing back our episode 1 pared down a bit with updated information. So take a look for that.
Timing because it is an anniversary for us. We
have
recorded a full year of episodes, 52 episodes.
It's insane.
It's kind of funny that we're revisiting episode 1 unintentionally.
I know. It's just, you know what? We got to say something about the flu because it's out there.
And I just Googled tickets to Bug for the low, low price of $107.52. We can go see it. So.
Okay. We'll have to look up. We'll look up some reviews.
We'll think about it. It's not crazy expensive compared to other shows. But
No, but
it's not cheap.
Getting into the city, getting out of the city, possibly paying for food in the city. Yes. There's a lot of expenses associated.
There are, unless they want to send us complimentary tickets.
Right. And then we will cover, absolutely. We'll do definitely.
We'll do cast interviews. We'll do whatever they want.
There you go.
Musical. That way, I don't know if it's a musical. I closed the window, but it's a Broadway show. Definitely.
It's a Broadway show, nonetheless.
Could you imagine if it was a musical?
Bug.
Good. It's not a musical. I just
okay. If you see those, obviously,
it's considered a sexy psychological thriller.
Ooh, sexy! I mean, there is a love story.
There is sex. I don't know if it was sexy.
Yeah, no, there was some weird, crazy, trippy sex scene. I wonder if they do that.
I mean, I feel like it's an integral part of the movie, so they would have to.
Yeah, bizarro. That's how they transferred the delusion. Oh my goodness. All right. Are we ready for today? For
I'm as
my
ready as I'm ever going to be. I mean, all I'm doing is listening to you, so I'm always ready.
All right.
Listen.
So my drink is called, and this is going to give a lot of the story away, The False Accusation.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it is 1.5 ounces of dark rum, 1/2 ounce of cherry hearing or cherry liqueur. I used a cherry liqueur in one of our previous drinks, so that would work. 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon juice, 1/4 ounce of maple syrup or honey, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and you can garnish with a lemon twist or a cherry. You take everything, you put it in a shaker filled with ice, shake it up, pour it in either a coupe glass or a rocks glass. For my mocktail version,
I was just curious about how you made it a mocktail, so I'm glad you said that.
Honestly, with dark liquors, you can either buy there are 0 proof ones, but a strong brewed tea sort of gives it a little bit of that earthiness. So I used like a cold brewed iced tea, like sugar free. Mm-hmm. So you would do 1.5 ounces of that. 1/2 ounce of cherry syrup or cherry juice reduction. What I did was I got one of those fancier jars of cherries and used the juice from that. Mm-hmm. And 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon juice and 1/4 ounce of maple syrup. And then you can use alcohol-free aromatic bitters, but honestly, how much volume of bitters are you really using? So
the amount of bitters is
exactly.
so minimal.
Exactly. So I just did like 2 dashes of the normal Angostura bitters and same way, shake it up. And put it in a glass. So it's nice. It's like a cherry lemon maple iced tea.
Sounds good. And while you're sipping on that, I'll give you guys a little bit of ASMR.
Ooh, I like it.
It was just soda, guys. Sorry.
So my story is based on 2 things. One is a fictional piece and one is actually an Unsolved Mysteries episode, and both covering the same true story.
I love me some Unsolved Mysteries. Is it original Unsolved Mysteries or new Unsolved Mysteries?
It was old. I had to find it on YouTube, I believe, and stream it to my TV, if I recall, when I did this. So the Unsolved Mysteries episode, let me find which episode. I think I did link the YouTube because that's how I had to watch it. And it was very grainy and old.
I see in your notes list, it was also an episode of Forensic Files, which I probably watched every episode multiple times.
I think I watched that. Yeah, I watched that as well. So this is Unsolved Mysteries season 3. So old school, episode 19. And then the Forensic Files. I don't know where my link is for that. Somewhere in here.
It's called the Deadly Formula episode.
There you go. Yes, Forensic Files. And then Without a Kiss Goodbye is the TV movie version of this. 1993. It is not a Lifetime movie, but it's definitely a made-for-TV movie. Starring.
What people currently don't know, those were peak drama.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
and I'm sure it had some popular TV stars of the time in it.
It does. So,
Did it
ready?
have Candace Cameron in it?
No. This is 1993. She would have been a child. So these are
she
people.
Could have played a child. I know there is a child involved in this story.
True. So Lisa Hartman plays the wife, Lori Samuel. Well, Samuels is the names in the movie. Stallings is the names in real life. And Christopher Maloney plays the husband.
Oh, what is that?
Young Christopher Maloney. So
I'm sure he was just as perfect then as he is now.
Yes. So he plays the husband, and good old Cloris Leachman plays his mother, the mother-in-law, and the grandmother of the child. So
may she rest in peace. She is passed, isn't she? I feel like she's had to have passed.
I don't know. I feel like there's times in this podcast where you said somebody died and they didn't, and I had to look it up and fix it in the show notes. Be like, P.S. So and so's not dead.
Every time though, I'm saying rest in peace. I'm not like, thank God that fucker's dead. Like, never say that.
No, of course.
Yes,
not.
Cloris Leachman passed in 2021.
Okay, there you go. But I was like, ooh, look at who was in this. So it was very dramatic. Couple slight differences, they changed the names. And the other thing that I did not see in anything like the Forensic Files or the Unsolved Mysteries, the mother of the father of the child, so the mother-in-law to the mother, you know what I mean? Cloris Leachman. In the dramatized version, she helps give statements against the mother and sort of works with the cops against her son and the mother. That was not mentioned in any of the real life versions of it. So that might have been an extra drama added in.
Cloris was like, I need more drama.
Exactly.
And they said, anything you want, dear, do anything you want.
There you go. So I'm going to give you sort of the real timeline and the dramatized timeline are relatively similar. So I'll use the real names just so it's not confusing. So on July 9th, 1989, Patricia Stallings rushed her critically ill 3-month-old son, Ryan, to Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital in St. Louis. He had a history of chronic gastric distress, but that day his breathing worsened and he was violently vomiting. Now, part of this,
he was 3 months old?
Yes, he was
so tiny.
Very tiny. So part of the issue, which they did show in the movie and also in the real life stories, is that she intended to go to some other hospital. I mean, back then we didn't have GPS. We didn't even have MapQuest back then. Mm-hmm. And she ended up missing an exit and ending up at a different hospital. And that fate may have changed the way things worked out if she had gone to the original hospital. So Ryan,
was the original hospital more of a specialist in this thing?
Not necessarily, but it's just the way she was perceived at one versus another. So Ryan was admitted to the pediatric ICU where blood and urine tests were performed. After 3 days, doctors told Patricia and her husband David that Ryan would recover, but then they dropped a bombshell. Lab tests using a test called gas chromatography showed ethylene glycol in his system, which is a component of antifreeze.
I've heard that in many murder mysteries before.
Yeah.
Both that test and it having ethylene glycol.
So, detectives, child welfare authorities were definitely involved immediately. Patricia and David were heavily questioned, and their access to their child, Ryan, was restricted. He was eventually released after 12 days, but not to his parents. He was placed in foster care while the poisoning investigation continued.
Which I will say, you said this was 83. That's pretty progressive for back then.
89.
But I feel like they didn't go as quickly to that in the 80s. I mean, they were probably progressing in that way, but I think it's surprising that they went that far and be like, no, he can't go home to you guys.
Well,
without any more proof, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess the thing was how would antifreeze get into a child in any way, shape, or form? He's not mobile. It's not like he's 3 months. He can't crawl and get to it. So after several weeks, Patricia was allowed some limited time with him, visitation, 1 hour a week, which was supervised. And on the 6th visit, Patricia was briefly left alone with Ryan. She fed him a bottle, and 3 days later, he was gravely ill again. Subsequent testing again detected ethylene glycol, and authorities arrested her on assault charges. On September 7th, 1989, Ryan died.
And for any of us watching the clip, I'm making faces because obviously if Tara's covering this, we know that there's an underlying medical thing.
Exactly.
So you feel bad in retrospect, but in the moment, all signs are pointing to nefarious things.
Of course. And so the way it was portrayed in the made-for-TV movie and also in some of the factual things is that Patricia's first attorney really wasn't great and did not really do well for her. And that also fed into the way things turned out. So in February of 1990, while Patricia was in jail, she actually gave birth to a second child because she had become pregnant prior to being arrested. And he was named David Jr. David Jr. was later diagnosed with something called methylmalonic acidemia, MMA, a rare genetic disorder. His symptoms were very similar to Ryan's, though this child had never physically been in Patricia's care from the moment he came out.
So how did he get diagnosed? Like, what doctors were different for him than for
he ended up at a different hospital. So the first hospital was known for toxicology. So they were only looking for toxicology. Like, they were very focused in one direction. So later, once all of this information came out, there were people essentially before the internet existed, but like crowdsourcing, like scientists reviewing this and trying to figure out what was going on. So a biochemist, William S. Sly, reviewed Ryan's stored samples after the Unsolved Mysteries episode aired, and he found out what had been misidentified as ethylene glycol was actually something called propionic acid, which is a byproduct of that MMA, that medical condition. And a geneticist called Piero Rinaldo from Yale, he confirmed those findings. So he found that Ryan had died from MMA, not from poisoning. And September 1991, prosecutors dropped all charges. Patricia was publicly apologized to, and custody of her second son was returned to her. She later sued the hospital and the labs for wrongful accusations and misdiagnosis, and was settled out of court.
So was this genetic on her side, dad's side, or the combination of...
I'm going to get into the details, but first I want to talk about why the lab was so wrong. And then we'll get into like the genetics of MMA, because that's further down in my notes and I don't want to get lost. So what the lab actually detected, they did not directly detect ethylene glycol. They detected propylene glycol and organic acids associated with MMA. It's safe and it's commonly found in baby formula, liquid medications, IV fluids, and lab preservatives. So back in the 1980s, they used something called gas chromatography without something called mass spectrometry. So it was less sophisticated. It only identifies chemicals by their retention time, how long they take to pass through the machine. And ethylene glycol and propylene glycol and that methylmalonic acid related metabolites have almost identical retention times. It's very subtle, the difference. And in one of it was either the Forensic Files or the Unsolved Mysteries, they show you the tracings and how it was close, but if you sort of shifted the papers on top of each other, you could see there was a difference between these chemicals. So the older machines, the older chromographs, the substances created these peaks that appear almost the same. And so the lab went with the more common thing that they were looking for, ethylene glycol, with a false positive. So modern time, you actually do that additional test, that mass spectrometry, to confirm it. And that's more of a molecular fingerprint and prevents things like this from happening. But that really, wasn't as big at the time. So I guess that's where it happened.
Available at like these little...
Everywhere, right.
Yeah, these little places in the middle of nowhere, or even not in the middle of nowhere.
But anywhere, yeah.
It's test every single person.
Exactly. But because the doctors already suspected poisoning, they just took it as proof. So this was just confirmation bias, essentially. And then why did the baby bottle? So one of the things they did was they tested the baby bottle, and they said the baby bottle showed residue. So there were two things. There's the methylmalonic, those byproducts that can cause that positive blood test in his blood, right? But they also then tested the baby bottle, the one specifically that she fed on the second time when he was just having visitation. And that showed something similar that was propylene glycol, which we said is in baby formula, is also in the residue of the tubes that are made and all kinds of things. So it's a normal ingredient that was mistaken for a toxin.
Well, I was also thinking if this is a genetic thing, it's the way that they're metabolizing or digesting or whatever. So if the baby like spit up a little, that could be part of it too, why it's testing.
Yeah. But I mean, it's something that they should have known to correct for, because even lab tubes can have residue like this.
Right.
So they really kind of should have known to like double check things. They said it was a poor testing protocol. The bottle sat unwashed for days before testing. No comparison was made to a new bottle of the same formula. And they were just basically labeled consistent with antifreeze. So, by using that better equipment, that biochemist and that geneticist really, helped to free her. And they showed that it was truly that MMA. All right. So now we'll get to the medical stuff. So we kind of learn a little bit. But MMA is a rare genetic disorder. So the body cannot properly break down proteins and fats. It's caused by a deficit in this one enzyme, and affects also B12 metabolism. And you end up with this toxic accumulation of that methylmalonic acid in your body. So they end up with vomiting, lethargy.
And I think that's what I was looking at with the vomiting. Maybe there was something in the baby's vomit that was on the bottle. I mean, we don't know.
Right. But lethargy, hypotonia, failure to thrive, developmental delays. It is an autosomal recessive. So that is where both parents have to carry it, similar to something like cystic fibrosis or many other things. Two recessives. So both parents have to carry it, and just bad luck when they come together. So nowadays, some things like this, these rare genetic disorders are detected when the child is born, because there's something called newborn screening. Mm-hmm. So nowadays we do tests for these things. There is something that they do while the baby's in the hospital, right after they're born. It's a quick little finger or heel prick, and they put it on this whole kit, and it gets sent out to the state, and they screen for these severe metabolic disorders that could be fatal if not discovered immediately. So nowadays, things like that might have been caught. So complications are kidney damage, neurologic symptoms, metabolic acidosis. But now remember, this second child has it too. And, he was able to live on a very low protein diet, supplementing vitamin B12, giving him carnitine, which is another protein type supplement. And then during illness, he would have to be aggressively treated, because that would put his body into more stress. Sometimes liver kidney transplants are needed. Now they're looking at gene therapy and things like that. And I didn't have it here, but I believe he lived to adulthood, but not, I think, into his 30s, if I recall correctly, the second son.
I was just looking at your notes. I think I saw something about 23 or 32.
Yeah,
might be reversing.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Like, he got to adulthood, but he did not live a full life.
And, how healthy was he in adulthood if he's going through all this stuff throughout his life?
Exactly. So, advances today, like we said, that newborn screening, better awareness of these rare things, and more research into them. But it's really interesting how scary that would be as a parent to, like, your child is sick, your child dies, and you did nothing wrong, but you're arrested and charged with murder. It
reminds me of the dingo ate my baby lady. Which we may have to cover, because people don't get that reference anymore.
No, that was a story back in the day for sure.
Yes. Maybe I'll cover it on an episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was a fairly cut and dry, brief, description of the whole deal. And oh God, that's the shortest episode I've ever done. It's 23 minutes. We have a lot more talking to do, Nicole. Oh my God, my dog is barking. My children are loud. Just ignore it all.
I thought I heard someone call mommy before.
I heard, someone come up the stairs screaming something. I don't know. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, and I'm sure there are other similar cases out there. That's something we may want to, even though we're not a true crime podcast, we both love that. So throw in some weird things like that, where genetic things or medical things and people are charged with poisoning.
Yeah, it's making me think of, I can't think of the right initials, but there's something they now genetically test at birth for. It's like NK something, where it's another I believe it's genetic, where children are metabolizing something and then they can be poisoned very easily just by normal food. I can't remember what it is, but I know that they screen for it now. So I'm sure that had somewhat similar roots to it, because we only learned about this, in the last maybe 20, 30 years. So before that, what were people thinking?
Yeah. I mean, it's scary. I'm so glad. Like, I don't know. It just seems like, as a parent, how frightening that would be. But the movie was, like I said, it was interesting. How did I watch it? One of the
reviews said that it was a Hitchcock level suspense. It was like, really? Are we really going that far?
No.
Maybe it was sarcasm being used, but that's what it said. Hitchcock level suspense.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Did I watch that one? Some of these things, when they're really old and you can't find them elsewhere, you have to like stream them from like a grainy YouTube video. I'm trying to remember how I found the actual movie, but it was Christopher Meloni can't do any wrong. And he was like the staunch like dad who was there to care for his kids. And he supported his wife even through everything. So it was a fun little made for TV movie. And then the factual stuff, the forensic files and the unsolved mysteries, they were very well done as well. They really laid it out there. They gave just enough of the science for you to understand it. But they kind of got that mystery going. So it's an interesting one to look up. Cocktail is fairly tasty, so I like that.
With alcohol, but that's okay.
Probably, but I mean, the cherry juice definitely works, and the iced tea.
Be careful though; cherry juice can make you fall asleep.
Oh yeah, people use that like tart cherry or something to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Let me see where this
fall asleep on me in the next episode. I'll be mad.
Let me see where this movie is streaming, just so I can. Because I don't remember. I did this a couple weeks ago.
Mine I did months ago, so apologies in advance if I don't remember all the details.
Yeah, it says it's not widely available for streaming. So I must have found it on YouTube and then just streamed it to my TV. Yeah, I'm looking. It is not out there anymore.
All those like weird streaming services that have like old stuff that if you dig, you might find it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes Prime has old stuff, so maybe it was on there.
Yeah, I can't remember how I did it, but it was interesting for sure. Wow, I've never had a short episode, but you know what? That's fine. Let's do it. I didn't talk too much. That's okay. And we're going to throw a bonus episode out this week anyway, so you'll have more content from us. I figured we'd name I just took charge and named the episode The Refill.
Okay.
Because it's like refilling your drink or refilling your prescription. Sound good?
I like that.
The refill.
Look at you. So on top of it.
I mean, my boyfriend ChatGPT helped. I can't take all the credit.
Of course. There's not a day that goes by that your boyfriend isn't helping in one way or another.
You have to fact check him, though, because he will tell you that there are movies that exist that do not exist.
That's
true. There was something.
He's a dirty liar, is what you're telling me.
I was looking up one of our upcoming episodes, the one that I'll do on the book women of Troublesome Creek, and they were trying to tell me that there was a movie about these people that live in Appalachia that this book is about, and there is no such movie. But it had a title, it had everything. No, it was like trying to it doesn't exist on the internet anywhere.
AIing a movie for you.
Yeah, no, for real.
Who was starring in it? Did it tell you?
No, it just literally just made it up. Yeah, Christopher Meloni. Yeah. He is a treasure.
Yes.
And he had more hair back then.
I mean, lots of people had more hair back then, so he's not alone. And you know what? I don't hate the balding Christopher Meloni.
Yeah. No, he
can rock it.
And he was like baby facing this. This is well before his big fame, I think.
Well before SVU days.
Oh my goodness, SVU. I think I've watched pretty much every episode of that. Well, not the more modern
I was going to say, have you watched the new ones where he's doing the organized crime ones?
Yeah, I watched like a few episodes of that and I was like, I wasn't as loving it. And like Mariska Hargitay's in it too. I think the new one too, but like, I just felt like it didn't have the same flavor to me. It was a little too much.
Okay.
All right. So we'll wrap it up nice and short and sweet. Thank you for listening to Medical Media Mixer.
The perfect cocktail. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right. Fireworks.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Medical Media Mixer podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps others find the show. Want to keep the conversation going? Follow us on social media. We're at Medical Media Mixer Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and on Pinterest, the Medical Media Mixer board.
If you'd like to support the show and help us grow, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Medical Media Mixer Podcast, and on Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Medical Media Mixer Podcast. If you have a topic idea, feedback, or just want to say hi, send us an email at medicalmediamixer@gmail.com. You can also stream all of our episodes and find more info on our website, medicalmediamixer.podbean.com. We're available on all major podcast platforms, so no matter where you listen, we're there. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, keep mixing medicine and media.